point where you just stick your hands up and say, okay, that's it for the season, let's just get him better and ready to start next season, because you've only got 4 games?
We are not there yet today, because we're always hopeful and players always pushing to play. But if that's the case at some stage, we will announce that. But hopefully that won't be the case.
With him, is it just more rest that he needs, or is there something else that needs to be done to kind of fix him?
It's about the healing process, pain-wise, and things that he can do now off the pitch. I think is in a good place, but obviously we have to build that capacity again to have the right impact, the right load, and be in good condition to train and play for the team.
And is there anybody else that's a doubt for Sunday?
No, hopefully not.
And reflecting on earlier this week, you can tell us things are good. You can feed into the players, but going out and actually delivering, how important was that to you this week, bearing in mind what's ahead?
Yeah, we showed a great response during the week, but as you said, the most important thing it was after to put it on the pitch, and we did it right from the beginning. We showed real determination and desire to win the game, to put up a big performance. It was a big game for us, over the London derby, and we did that, and we ended right to win the game.
And you talked afterwards about just still needing to find this ruthless streak. How do you go about doing that as a group?
Well, finding moments where are crucial in games to kill them, finding better ways to finalize games, and we had a few, especially with the games that we have drawn.
Okay, Ian from TalkSport. Hi, Mikel. Do you think some of the injuries that you're suffering might be because of the unusual season we've had with the World Cup in the middle, the fact that it's gone on a bit longer?
The ones that we had, the ones that they've been, probably except of Saliba, but it was a really nasty impact that he had. They've been more traumatic than anything else. So we wouldn't put that down to the World Cup or the amount of stress or games that they have to play. I wouldn't say it's that.
Going to Newcastle, how much this weekend do you have to put out of your players' minds what happened last season up there?
The very different game. A year ago, different players, different game. We're going to have to play much better than we did last year, that's for sure. And we know that it's going to be a really tough game, because especially at home they've been really, really good.
They have, and they made life difficult for you at the Emirates as well. I mean, was that one of your, apart from City, one of your toughest games this season?
Yeah, we had a few, certainly. That was a game, I think it was a game that we deserved to win. We did it at the end, and they are a really good side. They are well coached, they have good players, the right environment around the club right now, so they're in a good place.
I wanted to lastly ask you about, we saw Sam Allardyce come into football this week. We've seen Roy Hodgson and Neil Warnock as well come back into football management, but you're the youngest manager in the Premier League. Eddie Howe, I think, is just above you in terms of, or was the youngest manager in the Premier League. How much are you and Eddie role models for young coaches, players that have just sort of finished the game and learnt their coaching, coming into football and being successful?
I don't know. I have learned from a lot of coaches. Certainly I have learned things from Sam, because I played against him, especially when I was a player, and he has a really unique and very, very effective way of playing and getting results with his teams. And it's good, especially for foreign coaches, young coaches, when you come into a league and you have coaches that that's in a way, I think they have kept the essence of the English football in many ways, and I think Sam play a big part on that.
Okay, Nick from Dixon. Okay, how different is your team now, do you think, from January when Newcastle kind of frustrated you? Do you think your team's, was that a helpful thing to help your team grow, do you think?
We will try to play the game that we want, and then they won a very different game, that's for sure. And that was the battle when we played them at the Emirates. As I said, I think we deserve to win that game. There are things that obviously are going to be different playing back there, and we're going to have to be better to earn the right to win it.
Do you think your team is better at dealing with the approach by a team like Newcastle now than it was then, maybe?
We have to show that on the pitch.
Fair enough. How difficult is it for your players to deal with all these defensive changes at the moment? I would imagine if you were to choose an area of the pitch where you didn't want to have disruption, this would be it. How much work are you having to do with the players, and how much are they being challenged by this?
We can control certain things, and we have to accept that, and that's why we have other players that can fulfill those roles. Try to help them, support them as much as possible, and don't look for too many excuses, and just find the right solutions to win matches.
And I know we ask you this all the time about watching Manchester City games. You're probably fed up of being asked about whether you watch this stuff, but how are you coping with the kind of powerlessness of having to, wait for them to slip up? How do you deal with that? Previously you were in control of events, now you're not.
But we have enough, just looking after what we have to do and playing well to win the games.
Okay, Jordan from the Athletic.
Mikel, after the City game, you said the difference was that they could still, in moments, go to a different level to the Arsenal team. With Newcastle and investment and being in third place, is this a game where you need to make a statement that you can still go to a level that they can't reach yet?
We don't have to make a statement to anybody. We have to play our best game, play as good as we possibly can to earn the right to win the game.
And I know you spoke about the defensive nature of performance at home early in the season. You said that you didn't think they planned to do that. Are you expecting them to come out of the blocks tomorrow and really try and upset your style of play?
I don't know what they have prepared.
Okay, last couple in the live section.
Just-
Sorry.
Sorry,
Jordan. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you about, there's a traditional top six in the English league with Newcastle's investment in their infrastructure. Do you see that in the next couple of years settling into a top 7?
Well, they already are third in the league right now, and they merit that position with the way they have performed and the amount of changes that they've made. But they made some very intelligent decisions as well, so they deserve to be where they are.
Okay, last couple in the live section, Kaya.
Hi, Mikel. The goals Martin scored against Chelsea were very similar in terms of that late arrival into the box. He's been doing that a lot more this season. Is that something you've worked on him with specifically on the training ground?
Well, that's something that our attacking midfielders have to have the ability to do, because that's what we played in a certain way to explore those spaces. And Martin has the capacity to do that. Obviously, he's finding himself in those positions, and then he's been very effective finalizing the actions, and it's something very important for us.
Because he wasn't doing it as much before when he maybe came in. So there's the way the team's playing, is that changed, or are you sort of maybe showing him clips of other players who do it quite similarly to get him to do that better?
No, it's about what we want in the position and what we think he's capable of doing. Over time, we have to think to adapt to the quality of our players, but as well trying to inspire them to go a bit further than what they've been doing, and explore other things that can be incredibly important for the team to help us to win more games. And he's always been open, and he works really hard to try to achieve that all the time.
James from ESPN.
Mikel, there's this assumption from the outside that City will just win every game now, no problem, and go and win the league. But you've obviously been a coach at City. I mean, they're not robots, are they? It's possible they can feel pressure from here.
I don't know what's going to happen. They have won a lot of games in the last few months, that's for sure. And if they do so, they will deserve to win the league. And if they don't, then we have to be ready, winning our games, to be there.
Can you think of any examples of when you were a coach at City, particularly in that last season when it was so neck and neck with Liverpool, where you did feel the pressure a little bit at City, that you did think, we might lose?
This is more down to the players as well. I don't know how they are thinking right now, what their focus is. They will try to win every game. We'll try to do the same and see what happens.
And just one on that Newcastle defeat last season, can you use that experience as motivation on Sunday?
I don't think so. I think it's not a lot to motivate from there. It's a lot of things that we have to do much better than when we did in the day. But the group of players as well, and the players that they're playing at the moment is very different to that group.
Okay, that finishes the live section. Go 10:30 tonight. Dave from the car.